All right, we got it figured out, guys.
And we're back.
We figured out an alternate solution, so we should be good. I did forget I have it on normal latency, so the questions will be a little bit delayed, but it's okay. We're live now, and that's all that matters. And
we just had to go power it up.
We had to get everybody back. Yeah, we doing it the way we normally do the podcast. I don't even know why we didn't do it.
I ran out back, found a ferret, and got it to run on a little hamster wheel.
Yeah. So everything is good now. So we should be good. Everything is set up. And welcome, everybody. We'll wait for everybody to get in here. But let's go ahead and lead everyone up to what we were saying. Let's tell them all again. Screw it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just take it back to where I started from the top, if you will. Of course, big day today. Here we are, day 4 of Aftershock. Thanks, everyone, for being able to hang and chat with us. I'm just really thrilled. It was just such a great show today with BAND-MAID and what they've done here at Aftershock. And so, as I was talking about before, I'm really fortunate to be a part of the media and in a position where I can get to a point that I can actually talk to, get interviews, and be able to get that one-on-one connection with these bands and then get their stories out to you guys. And so kind of coming to you here with a bit of an exclusive. A lot of you, I'm sure, if you've seen today on BAND-MAID social media, they had some really great opportunities to meet other big musicians that are here at the festival. Obviously, mentioned before, Taylor Momsen from the Pretty Reckless, and also, of course, The Warning. Now, as most of you know, and as we were talking about, The Warning, BAND-MAID, fans of each other, have sort of always had some, I think probably some interaction maybe behind, just through social media.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until today. So,
and I don't think they have ever met before until today.
That's what you're getting to.
And so the story that I was leading up to, again, with me being in a position, I was expecting, obviously, like I said before, check back to JROCKnews.com. We're going to have an interview that I conducted today with BAND-MAID. That'll be coming up on the site at a time when we can get it all done. I got to go and write it up, get it edited, approved, and all that kind of good stuff. So just be looking for that in the future. But anyway,
you had an interview with BAND-MAID, guys.
Yes.
This asshole right
and
here.
They were.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I do. I feel really lucky.
I'm kidding.
I'm very.
You deserve it, man. You put a lot of hard work.
You.
You write some really good articles and stuff at JROCK News. You do a great job.
Thank you.
You deserve everything of it.
So while I was going into the media area at Aftershock to get ready for my BAND-MAID interview, I'm at a table. I'm doing my prep. Going over my notes, checking my equipment, and I look over at another table, and then I recognize The Warning. And so I walk up to their manager and just to make sure, I said, "Is this The Warning?" He goes, "Yes." I said, "Well, as you can see from my shirt, I'm here to talk to BAND-MAID today. Did The Warning have a chance to meet BAND-MAID while they were here?" And he said, "Well, no, I don't think so." And I said, "Well, okay, just if you want to let them know they're coming by, and maybe they can say hello or something." He was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen. The celebrities, they come into these shows, they're very busy. They have other things that they have to do. Sometimes they get a chance to say hello to each other. Sometimes they don't. Now, I'm back at a table, getting ready.
Guys, I feel the suspense with you guys. I'm feeling it with you. He's really building this up good.
And I really shouldn't, because it's not that, it's really not that earth-shattering. But I'm at the table. I look up. They open up the little gate for where the celebrities and artists come in. There they are. Five of them: Psyche, Miku, Misa, Akane, Konami. And they come in to do their press part. And it just so happens that the way the space is set up, there's these different little booths. And in one booth, you have The Warning, and in another booth, you have BAND-MAID. And as I look up, I hear some shouting, and it sounded like old friends who were meeting each other for the first time, and I get a clip of this. And so that was that very special moment. I mean, the energy in the room, everybody's focus was on these two groups. And I don't know if that's coming up. Am I too close or too far from the camera? But
that's awesome. somebody's like, you all know that it's already been leaked on social media. Like, yeah, but he was there.
I was there.
He was there.
That's the big build-up. I was there, but what you don't get in the social media from the picture is just the sort of just glee of these two
Yeah,
groups
tell us
meeting
about
each
that.
other.
Tell us about that.
I mean, it was just like I said, it was like teenage girls at a concert. It was like old friends seeing each other the first time. You know, there was the shouts like, "Oh, so nice to meet you. Hello." You know, just the absolute thrill among both the artists to actually. It was like they were meeting their heroes. You know, it was like The Warning was meeting their heroes of BAND-MAID. BAND-MAID was meeting their heroes of The Warning.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really special moment. And so,
Cool.
I'm just so happy that happened for him. I just, you know, it just being there. That was the big takeaway. So I'm sorry if I let people down. If this was a big build up to a whole lot of nothing.
Not at
but
all. Not at all.
It's just sharing with all of you that you know, just. For me, being in that point where I could see this very tender moment between these two fabulous artists, being able to actually meet each other for the first time, it was just really, really special. And I'm glad you guys got to see it through the social media, but I can just tell you from being there, what you don't see in the picture is just the absolute sheer joy of these talented artists being able to finally connect. They came from two different parts of the world, Mexico and Japan, and on this very special day, they actually were able to meet each other face to face.
And that's what's exciting
And, yeah.
is that happened. And like, hey, you don't need to apologize. It's exciting hearing it from you because you were there physically to see that interaction and you know the atmosphere. And even when we watched them play, it was like my first time. Was it your first time too, ever seeing them?
No, I'd
you've
seen them before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm gonna tear up now. But yeah, it was just crazy seeing it. Like, wow, they're in person.
Mm-hmm. It was, but it's just a really special moment. I'm just so thrilled that I was just that kind of just random guy that was in the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. So I know I hope I didn't lead on you guys to anything big secret.
Didn't.
You already knew this, but I just wanted you to hear it from somebody who was actually there to witness it. And man,
and there was a translator for the people that were asking.
Yes,
there's a translator.
So I don't know whatever conversations were had, but definitely. It seemed like there was enough interaction. Who knows? Maybe someday in the future, maybe something like a collab. Who knows? You know, you never know what can happen. But the thing was that this was that essential meeting, that they were actually able to see each other, embrace, and exchange, you know, that kind of warmth that you get when you can actually meet somebody in person.
I had no clue that they were fans of each other. So, like, I guess for me, it was all new. So I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that was a thing that had been going on.
Well, you know, see, that was the other thing too. I wasn't sure about is because you know when somebody's following you, or even when celebrities sort of follow each other, it's sort of like a courtesy thing. It's like, okay, I'm an artist. This person's an artist. We'll follow each other just because it's good synergy. And so I guess really the big takeaway here is the fact that this wasn't the kind of meeting that was, you know, it wasn't staged for cameras. It wasn't staged. This was a pure human, authentic moment between these two artists where they, like I said, it was like they were getting to meet their heroes respectively on both sides.
Yeah, that's, oh man, that's so crazy, man. Like I said, today's been like a crazy amount of emotions and like excitement, and like we were talking about on the last when we first went live, it was just so exciting to see the crowd, that many people that were behind us. I didn't know there was that many people behind me. I really didn't. That was insane.
It really filled up. Yeah.
And we had a fucking BAND-MAID mosh pit. Sorry, excuse my language, but we had BAND-MAID mosh pit.
It was a bit of moshing. Yeah, a bit of moshing.
Yeah. And I missed out on that. I'm sad. I'm kind of slightly sad about it. But it's okay. I got the whole concert film. We're uploading it.
You can mosh in LA.
Yeah, I'm gonna mosh in LA. I'm gonna get Ryan in the pit. So Ryan and I are gonna be in the pit in LA.
Right on.
I'm waiting for him to yell at me in the chat right now.
All right, good night, Wave. I see he's having to head out. Yeah, I know Sunday night, work night for some people. We are coming to you pretty late here, but a lot that was happening here today. You know, I had my interview and wrap that up, and then now you you're looking at some of your footage that you took.
So
thinking about what you're gonna do next.
It's
on your
cool.
footage?
I got everything filmed, the full concert, including the setup. They actually, the funny thing is, they did a sound check pretty much, and they did a song that wasn't even a song they played. Which one was it? Was it Warning? I think it was Warning, wasn't it, or Afterlife? I can't remember which song.
I don't know.
Can't
They were
remember.
doing so many different riffs. It was kind of
They
unusual.
did a mix of both, right?
Yeah. So one of the things too that happens here at festivals like this is sometimes some of the mid card and lower bands have to do their own sound checks. We saw it with Nemophila. They had to come out and do their own sound checks. There wasn't the usual equipment that they were used to. I didn't see Misa's orange system. If you guys know that Misa, she uses orange a lot with her setup and her gear. I didn't really see it. It was like a 5150, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. They had a. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. I filmed all the gear. It's all on Instagram. I'm gonna put it on the Guys Instagram. Follow the Guys Instagram. I'll put it all on there. But they had the Misa had her orange cab, and we had the usual equipment pretty much that they were normally playing on. And the cool thing is that they did a very extensive, thorough sound check before they went on. Like, they were really, like, specific and particular with the sound that they were doing.
Now,
and they were sound checking for a while, because I was filming for a good, like, 20 minutes before they went live.
I was kind of concerned. I thought
Me too.
something might have been like, there's something wrong,
Yeah.
because they were really up there. It was like they almost came out like 15, 20 minutes early
And
just to go do their sound check.
There's a little issues when they started, because you could hear Konami fumble with her lead in the beginning, but she recovered very nicely, like nobody else would have noticed. And then she like kind of got it, and they got the sound back because they're having an issue with the sounds getting in there. But this is normal stuff. But they acted like professionals. They're really good. They got it back on time. And everything that you guys hear in recordings, it sounds like that in person. And those of you who've already seen them, you already know. I didn't, so this was my first time, and it was crazy to be like, that is exactly how I remember hearing the live recordings. But now I'm just there in person. Yeah. Like, the bass from Miso is just as punchy and just as good, just as clear, all over the place. Like, everything was very, very good. Once they got settled in, like it normally is at a concert, it was perfect after that, And the thing is, we had people crowd surfing, we had mosh pits.
Yeah, we had the moshing. So I mean, it's like they've arrived now.
Somebody said on Reddit, "Made mosh."
Yes, made mosh.
Made mosh.
That's good. You guys put that out there.
Made mosh.
A made mosh. Yes. So who we have with us still? Thanks for those of you on the East Coast staying up late. Let's see.
Now, I got to tell you this. It was a very hot day. And I got a perfect thing, a take of Psyche going like this with her dress. She looks at the crowd and she's like, like, damn, it's hot out here. Like, you could tell in her face, she's like, what the heck is going on out here? Yeah. I don't think she was expecting it to be that cold. I mean, that warm. Well, it was pretty warm.
I'm not from here.
For October?
But I think it's unseasonably warm now here in California. That was just my sense, because I usually think it's normally a little bit colder. This is the Sacramento area. It's kind of a valley kind of area. Those of you that are more familiar with the West Coast, I think you know what I'm talking about. Tell us in the chat, is it unseasonably warm right now in California? I think it's warmer than usual, because right now we have a weird thing going on in El Paso, Texas, where it's a desert, but it's been raining every day since June. But guys, they did a great job, and I was just excited at the fact that I had to miss the Warning because I wanted to see Bloodywood and then BAND-MAID because the stages were right next to each other. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Warning, but I've already seen them in Austin. And I was really excited when you mentioned any hints of it, and I saw social media posts about them even being, like, knowing each other. I never even would have thought that they would have been fans of each other at all. Yeah, well, that makes me think of another story I got for you guys. If you'll indulge me in another story, I'll try to do a little bit less build-up because I don't want to give false expectations. But, the thing was, too, that part of... And actually, this correlates really into the growth and popularity of this band. Like I was saying, in the media area, and I'm not giving away too many inside secrets here, but inside the media lounge area, the way, and this is like it is for a lot of places, typically there are these different sort of little booths and tables. Air-conditioned bathrooms. I'm sorry.
Had to throw that in
They are
there,
nice.
you know? They are nice, you know.
But hey, you know, if it's an area where you're going to have these artists, you know, you kind of have to, you know, it's just a benefit that chumps like me get to go in there. But you know, the thing is too is like, so I'm going in, you know, and I'm doing a lot of my prep and stuff. So BAND-MAID meets the warning, but in the media area, there are different other outlets there. There's some like local radio stations, other outlets. If you guys check around and start looking on different news sites for information about BAND-MAID, I think you're going to be surprised, because I'll tell you this, there must have been about at least more than half a dozen outlets that I saw were set up in there. A few more. Also, be sure to check out on the Twitch stream. Look for DW Presents on Twitch and see if anything comes up there. I don't know if they had a chance to talk to anybody from that's doing the Twitch stream. Shannon Guns from the Gun Show. Watch for her, and we can talk about Nemophila.
Who was the girl that was really excited about Nemophila? Because I actually saw her. I was sitting on the thing, and I feel so stupid I didn't say hi. She walked out. I should have said, like, hey, you like Nemophila? Because she's the one that was the most excited during it.
We'll need to find that video later.
Yeah.
But so if you can imagine, so there was that. If you guys have seen on Twitch, that was set up in one area. There's all these different little booths. And all of a sudden, once BAND-MAID walked in, each one of those outlets wanted to talk to BAND-MAID. They were like, who are these girls? They saw me that I had the shirt on, so they started coming up asking me. They're like, you know about this band?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm very familiar. I follow them with what I do at JROCK News. And they said, well, we did a little bit of research before our interview prep. Are they for real? Do they really play their own instruments? And I said, yes, they are the real deal.
I can't believe somebody would ask that.
No, because because this is what they see. Yeah. This is, and we know a little bit about this.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
sometimes that there are artists out there who, you know, present an image and they're not quite up to that image.
Yeah.
So some of these guys were, you know, I mean, I'm talking some hardcore inside media type people. They're used to seeing gimmicks. They're used to seeing, you know, that there's part of that show where you got to, you know, people put on a show and it's not quite authentic. So and they were asking me like, yo, is this for real? Are these little Japanese girls for real? And I was like, yes, 100%. They are that talented. They are playing their own music. You're going to have a good time talking to them. So just, you know, go in, do what you got to do, and get that story, because I'm telling you, these artists are the future. It was
really
just,
good artists for the future.
Yes, it was just a really excellent moment. So be sure to also watch for other news outlets to start putting out information about BAND-MAID. The big thing here is that, here's the big takeaway for all you guys, is that because you've been out there liking, sharing, and talking about these groups like BAND-MAID, Nemophila, and so many others that we talk about and that Alan Wave and Champ talk about on Gaijin Guys, because you guys are out there talking about them, sharing the music, getting it out there. Now some of the mainstream sites are getting curious, and they're coming around. You know, even Joe, you know, has also been doing a lot of good work out there to put out, you know, information and get this music out there to people, because that's how it grows. That's how they go from an Aftershock to a Coachella and other big shows. And so this will pay dividends in the future, getting other big artists. So in the future, we maybe can see a Maximum the Hormone here at Aftershock, and maybe, you know, some other big bands from Japan and some bands that are coming up. I know you guys are really into a lot of other artists that we don't always have time to get into, but just going out there, chatting, talking up these bands, I'm telling you guys, it's making waves in the industries, and certain people are noticing.
Yes.
And I'll have more about that too, about a very certain somebody in the industry that I had a good conversation with yesterday. So be sure to watch for that in the future. But yeah, that's what I just really wanted to. And I need to stop getting the table. But
the good news though is that, just so you know, and like I said, like you were just saying, just about the promises, we're gonna keep it. We can't say a lot of things, you know, just to make sure, because as you guys know, things change drastically. But the good news is that Andrew was able to have an interview. Period. Because if you guys remember, they were canceling all interactions.
Yeah, there was a lot of concern about COVID. Safety measures have been put in place here at Aftershock. Real quick, I just want to say thank you to the staff at Aftershock. If anybody from there ever comes across the stream, thank you for your hard work. You did a great job this weekend. This was absolutely probably the best festival I've ever been to. Not even, even though I did it from a media point of view, just as somebody going and attending, this was a great festival. I hope that all of you out in the future can at some point get to go to some kind of festival or event like this. It's really a good thing now, post-COVID, in this post-COVID era, that to just get back out and be with people again, you guys. It just feels so good, and getting some sunshine. I know I got some sunburn on the back of my neck, but yeah, get out there. Also, thank you to everyone, staff, and everyone at JROCK News. Really appreciate you guys helping me out as well, getting prepared for that. So we'll be talking later about these stories as well. Also, again, follow us at jrocknews.com. Also, I want to say a special thanks to Rolling Live Studios. Those guys really helped save my bacon today. I was having some equipment issues, so if you ever see anything from Rolling Live Studios, be sure to give them a thumbs up. There's some great dudes over there. They were also getting some interviews and chatting with bands that were here at Aftershock. So if you ever see anything from their media systems, do be sure to give them a like. Yeah,
and like I said, I'm going to get those videos up as soon as possible. If you guys are in the Guys and Guys Discord, you're going to get notified immediately when they do go up. And then we'll be releasing them one song at a time over here on YouTube if you can't get the Discord, and we'll get that all going for you. But overall, guys, it was really good, and it was shocking how many people were there for BAND-MAID and Nemophila.
Yes.
So, and
right. Did we get a super chat? Is there a super chat in there?
Champ, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate it, dude.
You still staying up with us there, Champ?
And tell your friend we said happy birthday. So let's answer some questions. Any questions you guys got, go ahead and hit us in the chat with them. It's going to be a little delayed, so just forgive us if we don't get to it right away. If it's repeated questions, we're just going to, move on. And
I think we were talking about turning this into the Aftershock after show. So
yeah, the Aftershock after show.
I don't have anywhere place to be right now except probably getting back and editing the interviews that I have coming. But I'm happy to answer questions that you guys may have, and let's just talk about some J-Rock and J-Metal.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is people were mentioning SNL and all that stuff. Man, hopefully we can do that for Japanese bands in general. Hopefully we can be the media sources for bringing light and stuff to those bands. That's kind of the goal. Well, look, says Coachella, Wacken, Rockville, Knotfest, and Bloodstock. That'd be awesome for BAND-MAID to go. Any festival for BAND-MAID to get to is going to be a great festival here in the U.S. So,
and we know that they did Download Fest in Japan. They were the only Japanese artist for the Download Fest there.
Oh, really?
They were the opening act, and they have been in the past scheduled for Knotfest, but I believe it was the Knotfest for 2020 that was canceled due to COVID. So the organizers of Knotfest are aware of BAND-MAID. I'm sure they'll be back around. BAND-MAID was also supposed to go to another festival before this, Incarceration, and that got canceled because of COVID. So, we're kind of in this sort of recovery period here. A lot of bands were slowed down by the pandemic, and now they can start to finally come back. And what I'm noticing, and I don't know if you're seeing this as well, but it's almost like the bands are kind of starting to catch back up. There was this big interruption that we all went through with the pandemic, and now we're able to start to catch back up to where we were. We're starting to feel like a sense of normality. I really have a good feeling that next year, 2023, is going to be an even better year for a lot of these bands and for a lot of opportunities for these bands to get to other festivals.
Yeah, so what I want to say too also is the whole BAND-MAID, a lot of people mentioned about them being in MAID outfits. Guys, that really helps. That really turns some heads over at that concert, and then after they hear them play, it's like a perfect combo. They attract them wait, why are these girls in MAID outfits? Yeah. Oh shit, they can play too? So, and I think it turned a lot of heads. To answer the question, somebody, I missed who asked it, but yes, they got a lot of attention because this is, I don't know, is there a lot of MAID concerts where there's mosh pits and people crowd surfing?
No, not that I've heard.
I mean, I think this is so.
What they've come up with is very unique, and it's just part of where we're at now in modern music. And I actually would want to get more of your thoughts on this. But what we have these days is, there's so much out there. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of different platforms. If you're an up and coming band, you have to have some sort of edge so that you can stand out. Some people may call it a gimmick, but it's not really a gimmick if the talent and specialty and skill is there for it to pay off, like it is with BAND-MAID.
Or better yet, just say it's a gimmick, and that's fine, but the talent backs it up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the talent totally backs it up, and that's why I say the big middle finger to anybody that says about the gimmick crap. I'm like, you need a gimmick to stand out to get people to watch, but after you have the gimmick, you have to have something behind it. You have to have substance behind the gimmick. If you don't, then you're just a gimmick.
Right.
You know?
I mean, and it's not just BAND-MAID. I've seen this, like a band that I'm a fan of, Starset. You could say they have a gimmick where they do the sci-fi spacesuits kind of thing,
and that works.
But it works for them. They're doing music that I really enjoy, that other people enjoy. It's just part of where the industry's at now. You just can't go out there in a t-shirt and jeans.
How are you gonna stand out?
Exactly.
How are you gonna stand out? Yeah. Like, it's very rare for a band to be able to just go out there and do that. There was like 2 bands that pulled it off, Lamb of God, and even they have a gimmick to them, though. You know.
Well, even for them, as you were telling me a lot about, because you know more about Lamb of God than I do, is that they were sort of the progenitors of that genre. So if you want to stand out, you almost have to create something new if you're going to go down that road. But even then, it's like, they Lamb of God were able to come in at a time too where it wasn't necessary to have a gimmick, because when they started, it was kind of in the early internet era, so they could still come through the traditional system, maybe getting some record deals and things like that. But then, where we're at today, you really have to do something to get noticed and stand out. Yeah.
The cool thing is, like, something that I love how with the Japanese bands that they're opening doors for each other. So something that happened, I put a shorts clip up on the Dichotic channel where we were showing the Aftershock hosts getting excited about Nemophila. If they get that excited about Nemophila and then they hear about a band like BAND-MAID that's also from Japan, what are the highly chances of them checking out? Pretty high, because they heard Nemophila and they loved them that so much. You guys got to watch the clips. I put a compilation of her freaking out to Nemophila. So if she's freaking out about Nemophila and she goes, hear BAND-MAID, she's going to love both of them. It seems like she has the taste that she'd love both of them. And that's really, really cool to see somebody get into a band. So we got to remember, like, and I say this for metal and rock, you got to have good rock and metal bands. You can't have a bunch of crappy rock and metal bands, because they still represent each other as a whole in general to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I see, Simno's bringing up about Slipknot. Yeah, also with Slipknot, you could also say that their aesthetic is a gimmick, because funny enough, what I've heard is that some Japanese bands sort of consider them an honorary Visual K band. If you guys know about the Visual K bands that do a lot of the heavy makeup and prosthetics with their shows, because it's more about that visual imagery with their metal music that they do. Slipknot has that as well. So Slipknot became very popular in Japan just because some people over there were thinking, it's like, hey, is this a Visual K band from America?
Yeah, this is a funny comment right here. Stop calling stage presence a gimmick. Who said that? Nobody said that. He must be hearing things wrong. Yeah. Nah, he's just hearing wrong. It's all good. The full video clip from is good. Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, I think that's what we're trying to dispel, is the fact that some bands will get this label that they have a gimmick, and sometimes that's taken as well. Is that a bad thing? But as we were saying, if you have a good presence or some kind of aesthetic or some kind of style, it will help you when the music that you're making backs that up.
Is there any other questions you guys have for us? I mean, we're going to get all this stuff up. If you guys are on the Discord, you guys are probably getting already tons of updates on everything that's coming out. But is there any other questions you guys have for us before we get going?
I mean, this is the after show, so I'm just sitting back here relaxing. We're just having a few drinks and just riffing with you guys.
Still waiting for that Ryan interview with Psyche. Did you hear about that?
I heard something about
Yeah,
that.
he
was very disrespectful to him. Was that right?
Yeah, complete a-hole. Yeah.
Ryan, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't do that to poor Psyche.
But speaking of gimmicks, I mean, Gaijin Guys has a gimmick, Apparently, Ryan's gimmick is being a complete a-hole to BAND-MAID members. I mean, I don't know.
Can't have that.
Yeah, I can't have that. You know, that's unfortunate. The mix of the set. The mix was adjusted after the first song. The lead was a little low, but it was picked up later. And guys, when you're at live concerts, you really don't give a damn about the mix whatsoever. Yeah. You really don't. But if I'm talking honestly about that, it was overall pretty good. The drums was louder than everything because it kind of hits like a beast.
Yeah. That was a really great moment she had right from the get-go. As she was doing her sound check, she hit a couple of beats.
Oh yeah,
and
that
the
was
fans
great.
Yelled.
I got that film too for you guys.
And she immediately picked up on that. So she hit a couple of different other beats, and the fans responded appropriately. And she did that kind of back and forth for a bit. And you could just, I mean, if you were there, you would just be able to see that she had just the biggest, toothiest grin. She was so happy.
Her and Miku were laughing at the fact that everyone was freaking out after they had a hit. So you could see them kind of like joking with us because Miku and Connie were looking at each other as they were issues. They're Connie's face was like, I can't believe they're cheering like after I do one hit, was the impression I got when I read it. When I read her face, her facial expressions towards Miku. So it was funny. So she went, and it was like, ah! And then like you could see her laughing like, ah! Yeah. Like pretty much like, these guys in the U.S. are nuts.
Yeah, and they love that too.
And
they really.
Yeah, so she does it again, and it goes longer and longer and longer. It was pretty funny.
Even though we know they've been here before, it's been 3 years, and it was this sort of adjustment. I think they were starting to notice, like, oh yeah, we're in front of Americans. They get loud, and you could just see the smiles coming off their face. And I'm telling you, they just ate that up. What the crowd was throwing at them today. So it was something else.
How long did the crowd hang around after BAND-MAID? They disappeared. Poof. They were like puff of smoke. They were gone.
Yeah, well, it's a festival. There's a lot of other great acts here as well. Yeah. Tonight there is also Bring Me the Horizon, the band I particularly enjoy, along with Shinedown. And so, it's just part of the festival. People get hungry, so people are probably going off to, refresh, hydrate, take care of themselves. We did kind of hang around, met a few people in the crowd, so it was nice to talk to people.
Shout out to all of you guys. It was a pleasure meeting you guys.
Good to meet you, Eric, and other people out there. I think when you go to something like this, every time I go to any kind of a concert, no matter how much fun you're having, once the show's over, people are kind of just exhausted, deflated.
Everyone's like, oh, that's
fun. Because you get it all out there.
Yeah.
Especially when you have something like that where everybody's jumping up and down.
Yeah.
I know you were in the front. You couldn't probably see the people that were behind you, but the people that were next to me, and people also were coming in. This is another thing, too. People were coming up during the show, and there were people cutting in front of me, and people just, it was hands in the air, jumping up and down, a bit of a moshing going on, the MAID mosh as we talked about.
Yeah, the MAID mosh.
And so, but once the show's over and they take their bows and walk off, you're kind of done, man. You're spent.
Motley wants to know, was there anybody that was, during the interview, did anyone speak English back with you? Or was it just mainly through the translator? Are you allowed to say?
Well, not really allowed to say. I can't really divulge that much.
Okay.
We have a process there. It is a bit unique because of what we do at JROCK News. We have to go through a special process because there's translation involved. I can't really get into that kind of detail. But the important thing to know is to watch for that interview and what you see printed in writing is coming directly from them through the best translations that we can get for you guys. So I can't get into it exactly, but I have some inside knowledge, but I'm just not allowed to say. I'm sorry.
Just go to JROCK News, check it out. Another thing that was cool, No God, we got an extended intro.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
At first, I actually didn't recognize it because I was standing there thinking, okay, well, here's another thing. Let me just run something past all of you, is that before I go to these shows of a band that I like and that I know very well, before I go to the show, I do this sort of silencing period where before I go to the show, I actually don't listen to their music. And I got this idea from Josh and JD, who used to do the Carpool Reactions channel. And this was a great idea that I think works very well. Before I know I'm going to go and see a band that I like, I just cut them off like a week before. So I haven't even been listening to any BAND-MAID songs for this past week.
Opposite
nor
of what I do.
Nemophila. Yeah, no, I cut it out. I cut it off because what happens is when I get there and I hear it live, it's almost like I'm hearing it again for the first time. So when that intro came up for No God, I was actually struggling. I'm like, I know I should know the song, but I'm not quite getting it. And even then, once they kind of got into it, it's like, oh, okay, now I remember it's No God.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and this is what's so great about BAND-MAID is that when they do a show, they do these things where they expand on and add to their already existing songs. So I really enjoyed it. I think Miku was really, I would say, I don't know, maybe you noticed something I didn't notice, but it seemed to me that Miku was really leading that charge for that intro on No God.
Yeah, she was. She was quiet today, more than usual, but I know she had limited time, and they were really struggling to get the sound check set up, like with the tracks, the backing tracks. You'll hear during the recording, like there's certain parts where it kind of came out loud, but I think they're just rushing. That's why she was a little bit quieter than usual. I'm sure on the other shows she's gonna be talking a lot more. She did a little bit of talking. I got a little bit, but
yeah, there wasn't really no magic time or anything like that. You just don't have time for that at a festival. They did basically 6 songs. So it was. They started off with their newest instrumental from the album Unleashed, which you guys, I'm sure you've all gotten to. But it was From Now On was what they started with.
Yeah.
Psyche then came out.
I didn't think they would do From Now On. I really didn't.
I wasn't sure either because, again, with it being a festival, I knew they were going to try and get in as many of their big hits as they could. But I think this was a smart move by them because what it demonstrated is it showed without a doubt that just the instrumentals alone, they can actually get people's attention, pull in new fans, and really do some magic on stage. So we had From Now On, then Domination, Choose Me, Influencer, Play, Unleash, and then finally No God. So I think my personal opinion is that was probably, if you just only had enough time for this songs, this is like...
Now you understand why there's a mosh pit.
Yeah.
That's why there's a mosh pit. With all those fast songs going on?
Well, it's also like their best of, I think, because you got some from World Domination, and then I call also with the new album as well.
Yeah.
So,
and when they finished No God, I couldn't believe it was over. I was like, it's over already. It was really short. Even when I put it together, it's only like 28 minutes of play.
Yeah.
So it goes by fast for sure.
Yeah. And of course, the fans were all wanting more. But hey, that's what you're going to get to find out when you go to LA.
Everyone cheered one more song.
Yeah, I heard that one more song, and
they can't do that at festivals.
Just they can't do it because as soon as their time's up, they got to move off for the next band that comes up. Yeah, because the next band's got to have their time to set up as well. But get out there and, like we've talked about, for those of you who are getting to go to the show, enjoy it. And I know some of you can't always make it out to shows. They have sold out this year. But like I was saying earlier, just keep talking up these bands, keep sharing the music, keep sharing the love with everyone, and they will come back and they will get to bigger venues. This is growing. This is a movement. I can tell you without really telling you, I talked to some people today, and this is a movement that is happening again. We saw it once before when Baby Metal splashed onto the scene, and now things are really starting to grow for these bands.
Now imagine when Baby Metal gets that other album coming out.
Which we're probably about to find out.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Is it
somebody
time?
Do a time check? Have we gotten anything?
Have we gotten anything?
Are we going to get another exclusive here from Baby Metal? What do you guys think? Has anything been uploaded yet? I know it's almost
that time. I know it's 10 o'clock in Mountain Standard Time. Probably not yet. It probably won't be till like midnight.
I'm seeing the comment there from Chris. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm from Nashville. I would love it for BAND-MAID or any JROCK bands to come to Nashville. We get a few of them in Atlanta, but it would be nice for the place that I'm from, known as Music City, to get some of the JROCK.
Speaking of amazing Japanese bands, we got One Night Closed in the chat. Hey, welcome Ray. Ray.
Ray, so glad you're here, my friend.
welcome,
Yeah.
man. Chris said 99% is up, so we're I'm really waiting. I'm really waiting. I don't know if I can handle any more exciting news. Andrew almost killed me earlier today, and I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm just over the moon. You know, I'm going
He's
crazy.
like, I'm just a messenger.
I'm just charged up. I can't wait. You know, I've just been bursting at the seams because I've been wanting to share this with all the fans out there. So much that we've got coming. Great to have you here as well, Ray. You know, always love getting music from you and One Eye Closed. And, you know, like I was saying, we got a movement that's going on here. This weekend was so huge just for MFL and BAND-MAID. Any moment now, we're going to get some information from Baby Metal. We don't know what to expect. You probably saw it this morning on the Gaijin Guys podcast. A lot of speculation. I got a sense, and I don't have any inside knowledge, but I got a feeling that what's coming from Baby Metal is going to be a real... that they're going to deliver on expectations. We always know that sometimes Baby Metal can do a little bit too much on the hype train, but I think what's coming up, probably by the time the sun comes up where you are, you're going to be pleased with what we're going to get from Baby Metal.
Baby Metal, you better do something great.
He knows it. I think he knows it. The world's been waiting.
Can we clip that and send it to Kobe Metal? get a clip of everyone in chat going, Baby Metal, do something. Kobe Metal, do something.
But if I'm wrong, it's another pair of NFT shoes, then I'm going to be fairly disappointed as well.
That's the joke right now. Well, the newest joke is NFT toilet paper.
Oh, of course. You know, because when you're going to relieve yourself. You know, actually, that would go for all the haters. That would go for.
It would be a funny joke if they did that. It would be really pretty funny.
It would be a way of not taking themselves so seriously because, you know, I think we've talked about this before, that in music and in metal, there is that divisiveness of a group like Baby Metal with their unique approach, creating the genre of kawaii metal, having pop singers in front of a heavy metal band that has delivered, you know, really split some metal fans out there and some other people. You know, we've talked about that before. But I had a conversation again. Check it out when I have another interview coming up. Well, I tell you what, I'll just drop it. I had an interview. I got a chance to meet the host of Aftershock, Jose Mangan, the metal ambassador from SiriusXM, and we talked about JROCK. Again, I'm going to be putting out an interview with him, jrocknews.com. We talked about that, you know, how even somebody like him who's in the business and is host of Octane and Liquid Metal, he would say, fans would sometimes call in to the show and say, what are you doing playing this kind of music? This isn't supposed to be on your radio station. You're not supposed to play this. What is this, J-pop? You know, on a metal station.
Oh, wow.
You're not supposed to do that. But he believes in this music just as much as we do. And he said, look, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it on the airwaves. I'm going to let people hear this music. And anyway, I can't get all into it right now. But
can you tell some of the story behind that that you had mentioned last podcast? Or, I don't...
How much did we get into it on the last podcast? You guys remember?
Yeah, you were talking about he had played a band before and didn't realize it was...
I don't think we got into it at that point, but so... Again, this isn't advertising or anything, but for those of you who do have a subscription, it's a subscription-based model to SiriusXM. If you do have the subscription, if you ever listen to Liquid Metal, you might have heard that they have played Pale Dusk.
There you go. Yeah.
And they played Slay, featuring Hideyoshi, which came out, I believe, back in February. I think you did a reaction to it, didn't you?
Yes. Yep. So we did a whole EP on Pale Dusk. Yep.
So like I said, you know, the metal ambassador, Jose Mangan, knows about this. He was a big fan when he heard that song, and he was like, okay, I'm putting this on our station. I'm going to get it out there to people. So again, if you do have a subscription to SiriusXM, be sure to check out Octane and Liquid Metal, and just listen. Keep listening for when some of these bands come up, because the industry knows. They know that there's something big coming from Japan. We already know. Everybody knows. Your grandma knows about K-pop. Well, K-pop is just the beginning. A lot of people are now starting to say that, hey, there's other stuff. People have known forever with like anime that the J-rock music is really stand out there in Japan, and it is just getting more and more popular here.
It's funny that Aaron Nation was mentioning about that we should have a Japanese channel, Asian channel on SiriusXM. Well, the funny thing is we're still working on it. We're still working on an all-day stream of just nonstop Japanese rotating music as a thing. Like kind of see those sites out there where they do like all like instrumentals or all soothing. So we're working on something with the guys channel to set up something where it's just like circulating Japanese music, like a top 20 going for it. So it's funny that Aaron mentioned that because I was just working out the details earlier today about that. So.
It is sort of a new world that we're in now because, as most of you know, music is so easily accessible at the touch of a button. You got your Spotify, iTunes, and things like that. So
sometimes it's just easy to one-stop shop.
Right.
You know?
But what you find is that, and this is something else too that we've talked about, is that if you get into a zone sort of where you get stuck somewhere and you just listen to the songs you like, you then may miss out on something that's coming. And I think, even though I don't want to sound like I'm a boomer, I'm not that old, but there is something special to be said about the fact that back before we had this technology and the radio, you had like a radio or your friends sharing stuff. And so in the radio business, there's a program director, and a program director works with the industry, and they try to get music out that they know is going to appeal to people. Some people say that's gatekeeping. I don't think it's necessarily gatekeeping, but it's just a matter of, look, you had different mediums back then, and what it forced you is that while you were listening to a radio station to wait for your favorite song, you would hear something else. And then that would become your favorite song. Yeah. So I guess my big point here and the takeaway for all of you guys is that don't get stuck. Most of you are open-minded, so you probably have broken out of that stuck zone. But stay open. Just keep checking for new stuff. There's lists on Spotify where you can find new stuff and be able to branch out, and who knows, you may discover something that you didn't know before. I even try to do that too, even though I listen to a lot of JROCK and J-Metal, of course. I do occasionally try to go to somewhere else where I can find and get exposed to new music that's out there.
Simno in the chat said it perfectly. It's curating.
Exactly.
It's curating the best of the best, and some people got to realize, you got to be objective to what you think is, I guess, the greatest, of course, right? Because I guess that is subjective. But then at the end of the day, it's like, are they going to skip it or not skip it? That's what radio stations did back then. Now the thing is, we have the ability to choose, and we realize really quick that we have so many options. Sometimes it's just easier for us to go to a playlist, right? Which most of us do. That's why Spotify playlists became a thing. The playlists are the radio stations of Spotify and stuff like that, and that's the way that goes. That's why we've considered this whole thing of having 24-hour live showing of Japanese music just circulating, because it's just like, oh, cool, and like, oh, maybe we'll discover something new.
Because sometimes I just kind of run out of ideas on my playlist, and so I do kind of want to have that form of experience of just saying, okay, let me just turn something on and just let it play, and so something like that would be really useful, because then I can just turn it on in the background while I'm working or doing other stuff, and maybe a new song that I haven't heard before will come up. Another great things you guys do with your Gaijin Guys podcast is that you do have the top 10 list that Simno does, so that's a good thing too.
Shout out to Simno. He's just he's like attacking the best adult dating sites too. He's on top of it today. I think he's deleting them and clicking on and watching them himself, but that's another story. But I'm just kidding, Simno. But yeah, he's been helping us significantly with the top 10. We did that yesterday. We're definitely gonna keep those coming. So shout out to him. They're really good.
Good
and
work.
He puts links to all those on every single podcast. And by the way, this podcast is available on Spotify and anywhere you watch your podcasts or listen to them. So don't worry about this not posting. It's posting right after we end the stream, and it will go up on Spotify along with the other one that we did earlier this morning. And all this stuff will be there for you to get to listen if you don't have time to watch the video.
I see a comment about Visual K. I'm curious too that about some of the overlap. Some people are more into the Japanese rock and Japanese metal, not so much Visual K. There's a little bit of overlap. I on the Visual K side, I like the Gazette. Probably I like them a little bit more than Duran Gray. Acme is another great band on the Visual K side. But what do you think, Alan? Have you had really a chance to look into some of the Visual K bands as well?
I'm not as big as a fan as Visual K, in a sense. I mean, but they're old now. They're a lot older now. But Darren Gray was like maybe the closest thing that I really liked. I would say are my favorite, but they're not even fully Visual K all the time. Like they change it up so much. I'm torn, man. Like there's another band. It has an orange in the music video. They're kind of Visual K.
Yeah, that's Acme. You reckon
Acme,
them,
yeah. I like Acme. They were really cool, but they had a lot of old school metalcore vibes.
Yeah.
So Visual K is weird. It's just my only thing is all the vocals sound the same, and that's where I get turned off. Because like with Darren Gray, I get substance. You know, like there's some different things going on there. With his screams, his clean vocals, I think that's the best. If we're talking about the best in that genre, Darren Gray is just hands down destroy.
Yeah.
Other than there's another one I can't even remember. Their album Mass that just came out.
Yeah, that's the Gazette.
Oh, you said that, huh? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Gazette. I love the Gazette's new album, which is funny because I did not like any of the Gazette until Mass came out.
Wow.
And that's a really good album. I think it's overlooked, unfortunately, because it gets blocked a lot from reactors. So
well, yeah, that's true. The downside of being able to kind of check out new music in your line of work, doing the reaction things, yeah, you do run into that blocking kind of stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So it may kind of, I guess, turn you away from getting a chance to
Yeah.
explore some other
Yeah.
bands. If you know they're going to block you, it's like, why listen to them today?
And shout out to my friend Joe. He's the one who got me into Gazette. He's the first person to ever show me Japanese music. I just didn't understand that he was showing me Japanese music at the
Right.
time. So, but all right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. You want to say any last words before we get going?
Well, I just want to say to everyone out there, thanks for staying up late with us. And if you're watching this later, so much that happened this weekend. It was a great experience for me. Really enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for having me on the Gaijin Guys, talking with you all. Sitting here with Alan, really appreciate it. Big thanks to all you. So I'm just
appreciate
thrilled.
you,
I had a
man.
great time. So
Yeah.
this is awesome, man. Let's
And I'm
do it
hoping to
again.
meet up with you again at more
sure.
concerts. We're going
We
to keep
will.
doing more live reporting. I'm going to the LA show. I'm going to the New York show, Boston. I'm going to Jersey. And I'll be doing the same thing, reporting every day. Shout out to Joe who's in the chat. We're definitely going to be going live together at some point when I get to New York. I can't wait to see what unfolds when we get there.
Yeah.
And
Joe.
Yeah.
Hook the man up here. You guys are gonna
So-
have fun. I beat you to the punch this time, Joe.
You met me in California. You met me at the front of the tour,
Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting all the MAIDIACs in LA. So see you guys later, okay? You guys have a good night. And again, like Andrew said, thanks for staying up with us. See you.
All right.
Awesome. That was perfect. Fucking
Good show,
shit.
man.